Hello. Take 100. I'm being hard on myself today. Hi, my name is Donna. This is my channel. My channel is about transcending trauma. And right now I'm on a 100-day journey to finding self-worth. Self-worth, where are you? Hello, looking for you. All right, I'll stop being silly. Yeah. Looking for self-worth. So, after you live through abuse and trauma, it's just kind of a normal symptom that you start to, have feelings of lack in that. So I decided to, I've done a lot of healing, a lot of therapy, a lot of spiritual work, a lot of stuff, somatic work. You name it, I've done it. Like working hard to heal after what I've lived through. But I found I was still having these feelings of not feeling good enough, not feeling worthy, just listening too much to outside, forces and taking things in. And, I guess easy on self. I didn't get here overnight, and it's going to take some time. But so, anyways, that's why I decided to do this challenge with myself. Was if it takes 21 days to make a habit, I thought 100 days would be really good. And on this journey, on this challenge with myself, I have come really far. Just I think today is, who knows, it's in 56, 57, I don't know. I did plan on filming every day. That hasn't happened, but I definitely every day am working on self and, working on, changing these patterns that have been imprinted on me from the abuse, So, unfortunately, these patterns usually start in childhood, and that's where we learn how to attach. And then we go out in the world and kind of like a self-fulfilling prophecy, we end up attaching to people kind of the same way we were attached to in childhood. It's sort of done for a few reasons. I mean, one, it feels familiar, so it feels comfortable, even if it's chaotic. I think one of my videos I said, finding the comfort in the chaos, where something can be so dysfunctional, but it's what you're used to, so it feels good and it feels normal. And then also, the brain wants resolve, so there's something deep inside too that wants to sort of, overcome and relive those patterns until we can make it right. Unfortunately, if you weren't connected to in childhood and then you go and pick, more people that won't connect to you because you want to resolve this, this pattern, this story, this dilemma, it's usually not going to happen. You're going to pick, people that are, unavailable or dismissive or, toxic and unhealthy. And, you're going to kind of just law of attraction and just sort of prove to yourself, those unhealthy beliefs and those unhealthy attachment styles, attachment trauma. You're going to re-traumatize yourself. So you got to stop that. Stop that. Stop that, Donna. I'm already there. I'm at that point. But I'm still cleaning up some of the echoes in the subconscious mind, So, to resolve, we have to heal within, We have to become aware of the patterns, become aware of what we're doing, I am at a point in my healing where I can look at a lot of my relationships, both friendships and intimate partners, and say, wow, those were some interesting choices. And, so today I really wanted to talk about tolerance. I learned, from childhood on, and then I picked a partner who was very abusive and, did 14 years, like a jail sentence, did 14 years of, being devalued and belittled and, just treated like pure shit. And it built up a huge tolerance, and so then, even when I finally woke up out of the fog of how dysfunctional that relationship was. And, you know, it is like an addiction. It's the trauma bond. It's, uh, I stayed for so many reasons. If I was aware and conscious of what I was doing, I would not have stayed. But, it's kind of, I even saw while I was in it, like, why am I staying in this? I don't understand this, like, tug, I looked up Stockholm Syndrome because I thought, there's something up, my front conscious mind knows that this is wrong and I need out of this, but there's just some reason I can't. And, listening to empty promise after empty promise, like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. I need you. I'll get help. And, just staying in that abuse cycle, and there's many dynamics. I mean, the trauma bond is it's a chemical bond, and there's stuff going on in the brain. It's very addicting. And, just even that need for resolve, like seeing my father leave when I was younger, and, like having that abandonment wound, and, the fear of, separation, even though, like, the relationship is so dysfunctional, but the fear of the separation seems to be more compelling than, the toxic dysfunctional behavior. So anyways, only by the grace of God, I woke up and, ended that, but, and was alone for a while. And then when I started dating again, subconsciously picked people that were the same, and somehow I thought they were different because, it's a different person, different habits, different things, but it was the same dysfunctional behavior, And even looking recently at some messages from an old friend, from a childhood friend, like just a girlfriend, and how, like, dysfunctional and how awful she talks to me, and or talked to me, because I don't talk to her anymore, and that I just took it, and again, so coming back to that tolerance. So I was thinking about that a lot today, and I've thought about it before, so when we live through abuse and trauma, our gauge just gets off, and we start becoming very tolerant of things that we shouldn't. And even in therapy, I learned that sometimes I would pick people that were awful, but it was like, oh, well, they're not as bad as, not as bad, they're not doing, they're not treating me as shitty, Shitty treatment is shitty treatment, So I always like to look at the positives and negatives, because I think everything is always on a spectrum. There's positives and negatives. So, like, the gift of tolerance from the overcoming of the abuse is, the positive is that I'm tolerant, that I think it makes me a very understanding person. I think when we live through abuse and we overcome it, and we have this heightened tolerance, which is really heightened empathy, where, we're able to be there for people, where we're able to be around heightened emotions and be around people that are having a hard time and have understanding. A lot of people run from when they see someone in their emotions, someone feeling sad or someone feeling upset or angry, and a lot of people are uncomfortable with that. But, when we have high tolerance, we're able to, have empathy for people in pain, and we're able to, there's a little mosquito or something flying around. We're able to, tolerate, behavior that a lot of people can't put up with, I remember this movie with Leonardo DiCaprio. I forgot what it's called, but they were all like on some island or something, and there was a man in pain, and he was crying out and they had to like put him down somewhere away from everyone. People just couldn't take it. Like they didn't have the empathy. Like it just like was so annoying listening to someone dying, and they just couldn't stand it. And he just thought like, I think he went down to visit him, and even he, after a while, couldn't take it or something. Or maybe I'm quoting it wrong, but I do know that there's that mosquito thing flying around. I do know that they couldn't take that, and I think that I could. I think that's part of the tolerance level of it. I think that's part of the gift, that to be able to sit with someone in pain, to be able to stand those heightened emotions. Now, part of the curse of it, or the downside until you've healed, is that, like, the shock of reading my friend's messages, that the old me was like, would even still talk to someone that talked to me that way. It's unbelievable, like, the things she said to me, It's unbelievable, a lot of the shit I've taken in my life, that, like, people will be like, oh my God, that was awful. Like, how could you let that person talk to you like that, And, like, actually even falling in love with men that are angry and bitter and awful because I have such a high tolerance to bullshit, And that is the curse of it, the curse of it that, my high empathy, would make it so that I allowed people to treat me wrong. Not okay. So, again, the spectrums, the ups and the downs. And so now on my healing journey, I am learning to set up these boundaries, to not allow for people to do those things to me. Because, you can have empathy, but not allow and enable crappy behavior, So my tolerance level has definitely come down. And it's a good thing, Darn, I'm just going to let that go because I can't pause this and I don't want to have to restart. So, so on my journey to finding self-worth, I'm realizing that one of the things that's really helping me is knowing that I'm going to be there for myself and that I have a lower tolerance level now. And that when I see someone, like everyone has an off day, everyone can have a bad day or be angry. But if someone's insisting on projecting crap at you all the time, and if that's like the majority of their behavior, or if they're not accountable and they're not remorseful, and if they keep doing it and they don't have their own empathy, no more. I'm not up for that anymore. And that does really help with feeling worthy, because it's like I know I'm not going to reject myself anymore. I know that I'm not going to abandon my own being anymore. I won't stand for that anymore. I just won't put up with it. So empathy and, understanding, but the lower tolerance, the boundaries, and the being more picky about who I allow in my inner circle, and, not being okay with being treated like crap. If someone's going to show me over and over again that that's how they behave, then bye-bye, So yeah, just the definite, like, lower tolerance to crappy behavior. And I think that's it for today, and it definitely does. It helps with the worth, the self-worth, because it's no longer abandoning self, no longer rejecting self by allowing other people to project crappy behavior onto me. And even crappy definitions, like no more. So, staying in relations with only people that, are willing to be accountable for their behavior, that are compassionate. I don't know, there's this thing I heard before called Dr. C, which is dignity, respect, and civility. So only wanting to be around people that have a core behavior, all of us are percentages, no one's perfect, but, like a little bit more of this and a little less of that, a lot more of dignity, respect, and civility, Dr. C, and a lot less angry projection, belittling, devaluing, messing with other people's realities, It's called gaslighting. So anyways, that's it. Today's about tolerance, and my tolerance has gone down, which is a good thing. All right. The life in me honors the life in you. Peace out.